I was saying, I don't understand how they could possibly not like Starmer at this point.
Labour have decided to be more right-wing than the Tories and Reform, again. Although Reform, to be fair, earlier on today were having a conference where Farage was throwing out the red meat to everybody. So
Farage was like, this is what I saw on the podcast.
Yeah, let's see what they got to say about this. So Labour released a foreign crime statistic table.
Citizens, and these are good ideas. Yeah, thanks.
It was calling out the Albanians. Called out the Albanians for being involved in so much crime.
Shouldn't be charging.
What's Albanian gangs in the UK?
Consultants for Farage, to be honest. Shouldn't
running
you?
coke.
But they have decided that they're going to officially, as part of the government, other outside organisations have been trying to do this sort of thing for a while, including the Centre for Migration Control, which we'll look at in a minute. But officially, as part of the government, they are going to...
Been waiting for the Albanians to get some heat. That's real. That's
start, at some point this year, publishing the nationalities of foreign criminals in this country. Which, again, as they've seen, there's lots of other organisations that try and do this using Home Office and ONS data that they've got through Freedom of Information Request Acts. But this, in a way, I would say kind of legitimises concerns and is from a very, very legitimate source in most people's eyes, that being the government. You hear that, oh, some random NGO, the Centre for Migration Control, oh, they're probably right-wing, oh, they're probably biased. People dismiss that. You hear it come straight from...
No one would ever accuse the UK government of being right-wing, would they?
No, they certainly wouldn't. But then it comes from the government, a lot of normies' ears are going to perk up and they're going to go, oh, okay, all right, so there is a problem then. Sadly, that's just how a lot of people work. I'm not saying that's good. I'm not saying that that's how it should be, but that is how it does work. So what they're saying is that...
instead of getting their information from the government or from reputable news sites, they should get it from Lotus Eaters. They should get it from Twitter. Yeah, that's real, man. That's real.
Yvette Cooper, our Home Secretary, has ordered officials to publish the data, including crimes that have been committed by the end of the year. So they'll break the information down into how many crimes are being committed by these nationalities and what kind of crimes that they're committing as well. So we'll get the league tables. We'll get the foreign criminal league tables as published by the government. But there is a catch to this. It's not all foreign criminals in the country. It's those who have been set to be deported. So that limits it quite significantly.
Right. Very significantly.
And of course, we also have to note that nationality will not mean the person's heritage and background, it will mean their passport.
Although in most cases, it probably will track quite well, because most countries in the world don't have a ridiculous visa stamping program that we have. So, like, you know, a person with a Somali passport is probably like 99.9% chance to be a Somalian, right?
But wait. What is the argument for doing it by, like, some heritage thing other than race realism, basically? What is the point that... Well, you should show us what the genetic breakdown is so we can see who's causing the problem. We can see which genetics are causing the problem. Like, what is the argument here? The national origin is probably more important, right? Because that has ties to the culture they're coming from, the circumstances they're coming from. Right? Or are we race realist on Lotus Eaters now?
Person with like an Eritrean passport is probably an Eritrean.
That's all true.
I thought these were culture guys. I thought they were culture, not genetics. I thought that they were more lean towards that.
But with the visa stamping, that does mean that a lot might get swept under the carpet of British as well.
We have sweepstakes on what we think the results are going to be.
Oh, who's going
to top the table?
We
already know what the results are going to be, which is Albanians.
It's always the Albanians, man.
Degree, it will be Albanians. But I'll get into those figures in a moment. Man. So what it looks like is that at the end of last year, there were 19,000 foreign offenders awaiting deportation. So we will be getting the figures for those 19,000 and change, however much have been added to that list since the end of last year. A Home Office source has said the government wanted the public to be better informed about foreign criminals, including where they come from. So the Home Office is now saying we want the public to notice. You are now allowed to notice. You have got your noticing license from the Home Office themselves.
Yvette Cooper's personally rubber-stamped it.
Okay, that's
funny. Would never have happened under the Conservatives.
No, it wouldn't. It would not.
It certainly wouldn't.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was saying this months ago. You can go look. Pretty sure it's on the video on my second channel. is presented as a video about Sargon being gay. It's called Sargon Just Outed Himself. But if you watch that video, I say there's no reason for Sargon to not like Keir Starmer at this point. He's doing everything Sargon claimed he wanted. And here we are. Here we are. He's gobsmacked. You can't believe it.
Tories do still want to take credit for this, though.
Oh, shut up, Tories.
They've said...
14 years.
The Tories said, oh, well, it shows that Labour has buckled after being pressured to disclose the figures.
You could have done this at any point.
You had 14 years to do this. You didn't. So there's no point trying to take credit now, Tories. We know that you would never have done this until Labour gave you permission to do so.
We need Labour's permission to be racist.
And even then, when you took over from Labour, you still decided to,
Boris wave us.
Yeah, Boris wave us, and you decided to liberalise a lot of Blunkett and Blair's tougher laws anyway.
And brought in their own laws. What was the major one they brought in? It was just like the online harms bill and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, they rubber stamped it. Oh, I mean
they drew it up.
The Equality Act. They could have repealed that immediately.
Yeah. They brought in ones of their own just further in the Blairite project. I was like, yeah, you are just as guilty. Sorry.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. They did that, to be honest. The Tories were like pretending to be right wing for years, but then like putting a bunch of Blairite policies. But also they like hated the Poles. We're kind of raping everyone, But honestly, like Tories did basically, they did kind of cock out on the right wing. They did pretty hard.
Saying that the people that we've got who are being subject to all
they were just like it wasn't right wing, it wasn't competent. It was just like shit. Like they did fuck all for immigration or deportations, and then they just do this stupid Rwanda thing, right? As like a show of look how seriously we take it after doing nothing. It's just like totally incompetent and not even. It doesn't even stick to the right wing ideas.
Deportation of foreign nationals who have been sentenced to 12 months or more in prison. So those are the kinds of figures that we're getting. Home Office figures are expected to show that the main three nationalities for
What's
foreign
the argument
criminals living
against
in
the Equalities Act? I haven't really looked into it that much, to be honest.
Communities are Albanians, Romanians, and Poles. So Poles I was not expecting to be included in that, but again, broken down by crime, I would imagine with Poles it's going to be more some kind of benefit fraud. Yeah, that's going to be the main one for Polish people.
Not all crime is made equal.
Yeah, so Poles are not going to be anywhere near on the same level of severity as the Albanians.
Well, honestly, the Albanians probably aren't doing that much actual violent crime either. Right,
the drug trade can be pretty
sure,
violent.
but it's going to be
trade, pickpocketing.
It's going to be mostly
human trafficking across the channel,
property crimes, right? These three
money
groups,
laundering.
These three groups are going to be mostly property crimes, right? Like where it's stealing money, selling drugs, stuff like that.
The violent crimes are going to be coming from the more third world, non-EU countries.
Exactly. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am obviously bothered about the Albanians running drugs and the Romanians stealing copper out of the wires and whatever, and the Poles stealing benefits. But it's not like I don't feel personally threatened by that. So that's lower down on my list of priorities, actually. Those ones who are, raping and murdering children are actually, okay, it happens less. Sure, I'm sure it does. I'm a bit more concerned about it, though.
But we also have to take into account that these are the criminals that the government and the police have decided to charge and pursue in the first place. So
the white ones.
Yeah, the white ones, yeah.
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of problems. They're still refusing the national inquiry over the grooming gangs, for instance, but they have decided to brag about this and say the Tories would never do this because the Tories would never do this. The Home Office said, not only are we deporting foreign criminals at a rate never seen when Chris Phillip and Robert Jenrick were in charge, we will also be publishing far more information about the cohort of offenders than the Tories ever did. We want to ensure the public is kept better informed about the number of foreign criminals awaiting deportation, where they are from, and the crimes that they have committed. The Tories, again, though...
But hang on, before we go on, that's great. That's wonderful. The dialectic in Britain has turned into who can deport the most foreign criminals. That's a great start. And Labour are like, yeah, we're most right-wing on that. Well, the Tories are a bunch of wimpy leftists. I agree, they probably are.
There is an Iranian rug merchant who has repeatedly stated, Welsh as well, who has repeatedly stated that the Tories
on the team.
Are afraid of
Is there any more of them bigging up Keir Starmer? Who said that they were bigging up Keir Starmer in here recently? Equality Act legitimises a lot of the current pay equality rulings, like the Birmingham cleaners versus binmen, supermarket cashiers versus warehouse workers. I haven't looked into those pay equality rulings. I didn't look into any of the binman stuff. Really?
Says about them. Labour are afraid about what the Daily Mail says about them. And I think this is proof of that.
Some people say that the right, the sort of disempowered right of the country has never moved the Overton window. I disagree. We absolutely have.
Look at what they're just saying here.
Yeah.
We're deporting criminals at a rate never before seen. You'd think that'd be something Nigel Farage would say.
It's definitely clearly a political gambit, a ploy to try and undercut Tories and reform.
Yeah.
At the same time. And also, I do think that there is the digital ID aspect to take into account here as well. Yeah. Because what they're probably going to do is say, here's all of this extra information, look at how these people who are coming into the country are making your life worse through the crimes that they commit. If we implement facial recognition, biotechnology, and digital ID all at the same time, we're better able to track these people, better able to arrest and deport them, so there's your excuse for having digital IDs and other technocratic stuff introduced into the country. Yeah, that seems pretty much one of the plays for me. And so it achieves multiple things at the same time. So really, it's actually a very clever move on their part. Again, the Tories are claiming that this was us. Look, we were saying that we should do this all the way back to a year ago. You were still in power in March of last year. Why didn't you? And it's all well and good. You know, I know people like Jenrick. He is obviously the best of them at the moment. But even Robert Jenrick, after he's no longer head of the Home Office, saying, we should publish migrant crime data. Why didn't you? You had the opportunity. Yeah. So it's all meaningless words.
Anything that Jenrick does is always underscored by the fact that the Conservative Party itself chose not to make him the leader, right? So Jenrick's like, hey guys, I'm super right-wing and based, and I would get these things done. It's like, okay, I didn't when I was in power, but whatever. I will do in the future. Okay, but your own party selected against you for an African immigrant, right? So who wants more Nigerians coming into the country? So, you know, bro, you are probably in the wrong party is basically the answer, the conclusion you should draw from this.
Well, there does keep being small rumblings of a Tory reform team-up.
Yeah. Why would Nigel want that?
Yeah, why would Nigel
want that? I'm the guy that head in the polls. I don't need you. Like, why would I need you? All I need to do is actually throw out some red meat like I did this morning, in fact, and I'll probably go up in the polls and you'll go down.
In that picture, he looks a bit like J.D. Vance.
He does, doesn't he?
Missing a chromosome or two, but...
Oh, he looks a bit like a Vance edit.
J.D. Vance without the...
This is just
disaffected.
Do they talk about anything else? Spaghetti Vivo, where did you hear him talking about Starmer?
Here we go, folks.
Oh, they're responding to James O'Brien. Oh, no.
Benefit.
Oh, you mean this?
Oh, you've already...
Yeah. Let's hear it straight from the horse's mouth, shall we?
I was wondering what James O'Brien had to say about this.
Well, let's hear what you had to say about this. Do you think it's going to be intelligent, insightful?
I mean, I can see by his face.
Eye-opening?
In the interest of the public.
That's so porcelain.
Here we go.
I'm not going to lie. James O'Brien, he can be fucking annoying sometimes. He's a soy bitch a lot of the time. Way more bearable than this show.
Go, folks.
I don't know what else this is designed to do, but to feed hatred. And I mean, you can tell from my voice, I really want to be wrong. Why is the Labour government determined to publish far more information about the nationalities of criminals than ever before?
Sorry, can we
can
pause
come at
a
this
second?
from whatever.
This is just insufferable. If you know something about the demographics of the criminals, you'll become prejudiced. So I need you ignorant, says James O'Brien, or else hatred grows in Britain. Well, it's like, James, that doesn't stop things from happening. Yeah. You know, the things are happening already.
Well, it means that...
How do I feel about this? I don't understand what the purpose of releasing the figures is, to be honest. However, I am generally just in favour of, like, the transparency on this stuff. Does it feed it? I'm not sure. I feel like having the figures... You want the most accurate information possible, right? I don't know, man. I don't really get what the point is. Like, what is the point? What is the conceivable benefit to the public by knowing the nationalities of criminals?
Want you less safe.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And stupid, ignorant, and...
Yeah, if you're ignorant, you're less safe. If you don't know who's committing the crime, you're more likely to make bad decisions that will put yourself in danger. James O'Brien thinks that that is A-okay. He thinks that's a preferable situation, that you're in danger, than you're informed and make better decisions for yourself. That's pretty evil.
Why does he want this country, particularly women, to be less safe? Why, James? Why do you want that? Why are you advocating for that?
Well,
I mean,
lots of questions.
He is a feminist. He's been to therapy, don't you know? So he's accepted himself. He's accepted
President
himself.
James
and all-
O'Brien.
Okay, no, okay. I can't watch this, man. I can't watch him do this to James. I can't watch him do this. He does bang on about fucking therapy and accepting himself and shit, and it is soy, and it is gay, and it is embarrassing, and now they're gonna rip on him for it. God, it's so fucked up.
He's been to therapy, don't you know? So he's accepted himself. I mean,
Why, James? Why do you want that? Why does he want this country, particularly women, to be less safe? Why, James? Why do you want that? Why are you advocating for that?
Well,
I mean,
lots of questions.
he is a feminist. He's been to therapy, don't you know? So he's accepted himself. He's accepted
President
himself
James
and
O'Brien
all of
expert
the
can explain it.
consequences.
Oh yeah, you've actually done
Yeah, I've done the reading.
read his book.
I understand his mind now, and it is a circus of chaos in there. But what else? What else may he have to say?
Angle you want. You can, and I honestly don't think
No,
you
I'm
will.
not going. James O'Brien is like actually 10 times smart on this guy. This guy, even the right wingers don't particularly like this guy. I'm pretty sure that Hari and Gladiv guy rips the fuck out of this idiot. So I really don't want to hear him sitting there saying, "Oh, James O'Brien's mind is a circus." It's like, shut up, man. Shut up. You are like the most weird freak going.
Because I can't see that you could. Explain to me why this isn't as unpleasant as it appears.
Oh, it's
And
just
what are we
unpleasant.
supposed to do with the information? So if we discover that Poles commit more crimes than, I don't know, Spaniards, are we supposed to treat
they
Poles
do.
and Spaniards differently?
Yeah.
What am I
Yes.
supposed to do with this information? It's not ethnicity; it's nationality. So, I mean, are they going to publish the fact that the massive majority of crimes committed in this country are committed by non-foreigners? Just in terms of simple statistics, that's not an opinion; it's counting.
Oh, I can
Are
feel
we going
the
to start
per
having
capita.
Oh my okay. James O'Brien. Oh my god. Why, man? He's just perpetually like 10 years behind on the talking points, I swear. A lot of other guys in like mainstream British punditry are.
massive majority of crimes committed in this country are committed by non-foreigners? Just in terms of simple statistics, that's not an opinion; it's counting.
Oh, I can
Are
feel
we going
the
to start
per
having
capita
conversation?
meme.
Yeah.
Per capita, James. Per capita. Hashtag per capita,
James
James.
cannot understand per capita. Confirmed. And if you want an idea of the per capita for
do.
particular nationalities, well, thankfully, as I've mentioned, the Centre for Migration Control have already been collecting a lot of this information through Freedom of Information requests and putting them into handy-dandy, easy-to-read tables, revealing information like this. So this next one is arrests. It's not convictions. It's not... can you believe get arrested? What?
British, 12 arrests per 1,000 people. Somalis, 64.6. Moroccans, 70. 72.97 for Algerians. 92.9 for Iraqis. Afghans, 106.9. 209.8. 20% of Albanians getting arrested.
Just shows how
Five.
racist our police are, Harry.
That's amazing. Can you
1 in
believe
10
that?
Afghans.
Yeah, 1 in 10
So
Afghans.
Quite a lot more are doing crimes. They're just not arrested.
Yeah, the rest
So-
of them are getting away.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
the other 4 out of 5 are getting away with it, which just goes to show, like, this population. I don't think
That's crazy.
Wait, okay. 1 in 5 Albanians are getting arrested, which means the other 4 in 5 are getting away with it. Dude. Stupid joke.
It would be very uncharitable of me to say that literally 1 in 5 Albanians in Albania is a criminal.
Yeah, I don't think that's
So
the case either.
what it seems to suggest is that criminal Albanians are specifically coming over to this country to form gangs and commit crimes, mostly involving
Drugs and human trafficking.
drugs and human trafficking. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, we already know these things. Right?
I'm
These
pretty
are-
sure the guy at the top right said that, didn't he?
Just goes to show, like, this population. I don't think I
That's crazy.
believe
1 in 10
that.
Afghans.
Yeah, 1 in 10
So
Afghans.
Quite a lot more.
That just shows how
5.
racist.
Okay, right now, get arrested. Albanians. Can you believe this? 1 in 5 Albanians who are in the UK right now get arrested.
Well,
1
that
in
just shows how
5.
racist our police are, Harry.
That's amazing. Can you
1 in
believe
10
that?
Afghans.
Yeah, 1 in 10
So
Afghans.
quite a lot more are doing crimes. They're just not arrested.
Yeah, the rest
So-
of them are getting away.
Well, yeah, the other 4 out of 5 are getting away with it, which just goes to show, like, this population. I don't think
That's crazy.
it would be very uncharitable. Of
Dude,
me-
I don't even
the-
think
the
Sargon
other
registered
4
that was a joke. These people are so retarded, man.
A lot more are doing crimes. They're just not arrested.
Yeah, the rest
So-
of them are getting away.
Well, yeah, the other 4 out of 5 are getting away with it, which just goes to show, like, this population. I don't think
That's crazy.
it would be very uncharitable of me to say that
Okay.
literally most
We've covered on the podcast.
And barber's shop pretending to be Kurdish.
that too.
Yeah.
That too.
I don't-
But that's also part of the human trafficking.
It's only a
There's lot
side
of-
deal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the human trafficking, that's part of the drug trafficking,
Money
that's part of the
laundering.
money laundering as well. So even given that this is different nationalities and the nationality will be based on who's been rubber stamped as a Brit, even with them all getting collected under that information, it's still,
That's ridiculous.
what, 20 times more?
Yeah.
What's that classic thing? What's it called? I've heard a better term for it, where you just pretend, you feign ignorance. You just pretend you don't understand per capita. You pretend you don't understand why noticing matters, why pattern recognition matters.
Performative
Oh
ignorance.
my god.
Something like that, yeah.
Do we think that James O'Brien...
Noticing
Excellent
pattern
article here,
recognition.
'cause they
Dude,
1000
shut
and
up.
change. Thank you very much.
They actually they
Sub-Saharan
think
Africa.
they're like some like 1350 is some hidden knowledge, some secret knowledge. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. It permanently alters your perception. Dude, people like you is why they say they shouldn't release these figures. It's why James O'Brien makes this argument, because you literally can't hear a stat without it completely reshaping your perception of the world.
Africa, other parts of the you can get drug,
Okay.
cocaine,
Well, I don't think I
or
care about any
if
more of this.
anything will come of it.
Yeah, being able to send them, like, here's the government statistics on national...
Well, so I guess they're look, they're on the team. They're supporting Labour now. They're on the team.